like this, 'cause the music makes me high. And if I only got one more night, I'm gonna leave out loud goodbye.
This gonna be the type
What up,
of night
what
that
up,
make
what up?
movies.
It's your boy, Mr. Von, Mr. Von's channel. Sweatbox, we back, we live, we active here on the channel. Yes, indeed. You know how we do. How's everybody doing? Is everybody staying safe during these crazy quarantine times? Keeping yourself safe. Make sure you're washing them hands. Don't touch your face. Cover up if you got a mask or a scarf. I made a homemade mask off of the CNN reviews. I pulled out one of my old rags. You know what I'm saying? One of my old gangster rags. I didn't. I'm just joking. I used the old towel. I used the old rag. I mean, it's an old rag. I didn't want to see rags. Anyway, I'm glad everybody's staying safe. What you guys been watching? You know what I'm about to review. I'm here today to watch to review the show that everybody's talking about. That everybody's watching, Tiger King, on Netflix, taking over the world, sweeping the nation. Oh my goodness, this show is so ridiculous. Let's be clear. I'm going to be making fun of this show during this review. I'm going to legit review the show because there's some stuff that happens. But I am totally going to be making fun of this show. And when I say I'm talking about the characters, Carol Baskin, Joe Exotic, you know it's got to be Joe Exotic, and Doc Andel. And then you got guys like Jeff Lowe, who was a character of his own. Rick Kirkman, no relation to John Kirkman of The Walking Dead. I don't think they're related. And then, of course, John Finlay, the Toothless Wonder. Oh, I'm totally going to be making fun of these people. This show is a train wreck. And I mean train wreck. I cannot express how much of a train wreck this show is. And this is the most white people in show I've ever seen. So white people, I'm talking about y'all on this one. You can fit, you know what? Fine. You want to find some terrible show with black people doing stereotypical stuff and make fun of it, go ahead. Because this is, I can't believe it. This is the most white trash show I've ever seen in my life. All these people on here, ain't none of these characters good. I love how the first episode, they make you kind of sympathetic for Carol Baskin, like, oh, I can't believe she cares about the first thing when I saw this, and they said Carol Baskin's like, Joe Exotic keeps tigers in cages. Then the first thing they do is they cut to her and she's got tigers in cages. I'm like, the hypocrisy? What? Huh? I mean, this show is a mess. Let's talk about Joe Exotic, the man that's sweeping the nation. The man that married 2 other men and had him hooked on meth. That's how he kept him, just gave him meth. And one of my men, the Toothless, one of this, he was on. First time they showed him, he's just sitting in the chair shirtless with no teeth, tatted up. I'm like, why don't you have a shirt on and why don't you have any teeth? Wow, meth is bad. Don't do meth. Then, my boy Joe Exotic, man. What can I say about him? His hatred for Carol Baskin. So then there's Carol Baskin, who runs Big Cat Rescue down in Florida. And she killed her husband, allegedly. She killed her first husband, who was a millionaire, got his money, and then it's just, oh my God. This is white trash Game of Thrones. I swear to God, it's white trash Game of Thrones. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And then there's Doc Andel. I don't remember where he's located. I think he was in Florida too, but he's actually the one I recognize because he's been on Letterman and he's been on all the late shows. You know when they used to have animals on there? He'd be on there. This dude's running a cult. He got like 3, 4 wives that he's all, you know what I'm saying, getting them young, breeding them young. I mean, he had one girl that finally left. She's talking about it. How they tried to make her get breast implants. I mean, oh my goodness. This show is a train wreck. Train wreck. And I haven't even introduced the fact of Jeff Lowe, one of the greatest characters ever. This man has no chin. His whole face is weird. This dude looks like he stepped out of a late 90s, early 2000 Limp Bizkit video. He's watched way too many episodes of Sons of Anarchy. I'm talking about Jeff Lowe. The characters on this show are all terrible people. There's the one girl, she's not, some of the workers who actually maintain the zoo were pretty decent people. even though they were crazy for working there, they were still pretty. Like the one chick got her arm clean bit off, all the way up to like the nub, all the way up to the elbow. It was gone. And she was like, whatever, I'm still here. I like working at the zoo with the lions and the tigers and the ligers. They actually was breeding ligers. Dude Jeff Lowe is smuggling little kittens around, letting girls pet him so he can smash the chicks. I'm like, my boy Doc Antle. Here's the thing, and I'm going to say this. Some of them chicks that Doc Antle had was pretty attractive women. But they weren't attractive enough to where I'm going to be living in a zoo full of cats. When he was talking about some of the living quarters, you get $100 a week. What? And Carol Baskin, she ain't even paying employees. You got to know, you got to be a volunteer. You lucky to be graced to work with these big cats and Carol Baskin. And if you run your mouth, I'm going to douse you in sardine oil and feed you to the cats. Oh, and I even talked about the fact that my man Joe Exotic, who had 2 husbands, by the way, who admitted that neither one of them were gay, he also ran for president. And it was at this moment, that it all came full circle. And I remember Joe Exotic because my man John Oliver did a piece on him on his show Last Week Tonight. You guys know I love Last Week Tonight. And I'm just like, wow, this is the craziest show. The only surreal moment verse that got real is when Joe's second husband accidentally murdered himself, shot himself in the head. That was tragic, and I legit felt bad for him. But even that got turned into a shit show at the funeral because Joe Exotic was sitting there trying to make it all about him. He's singing with a cowboy. I mean, this whole thing is ridiculous. And it ends with Joe Exotic trying to have Carol Baskin killed because she sued him in court over something and won, and she won his whole zoo. So he signs the zoo over to Jeff Lowe, and then Jeff Lowe turns around and steals the zoo. And then Jeff Lowe gets busted in Vegas for having illegal cats and like running a prostitution. I don't know what it was, but these guys is all career criminals. Bunch of scumbags. They're all a bunch of scumbags. All of them are terrible people, including Carol Baskin. She actually might be the worst because I'm pretty sure she killed her husband. I mean, wow. Netflix. How did you guys come up with this one? Joe pays one of Jeff Lowe's dudes to go down to Florida and kill Carol Baskin. He was supposed to pay him 5, only paid him 3 racks. So the dude was like, forget it. Then the dude turned state's evidence. He turned to the feds and started snitching on Joe. And so did Jeff Lowe. They all turned state's evidence. And Joe Exotic gets like 22 years in prison. I'm telling you, man, this was a cold piece. This whole show was insane. Nobody on the show is a good character. Everybody on the show needs to do better. The only people on this good character, you're rooting for the Tigers to just eat everybody. It's like, I just wish at some point the Tigers would just get out and eat everybody. Oh, I hadn't even mentioned the fact that Joe Exotic's whole zoo, they was just stealing Walmart meat and feeding it to the cats. And then, if you ever was at that Joe Exotic zoo and you ate the pizza at Joe Exotic Zoo, just know you was eating expired meat pizza. They was putting expired meat on the pizza. And I can't even front. They brought that first pizza. So that looked pretty good. They was like, you use expired meat? And then you got the meth heads was sitting there eating pizza. This is some of the best pizza I've ever had. Did they use it? I'm pretty sure it's expired meat. It's like, what? And then there's videos of them just at their Walmart trucks just dumping out all the expired meat. And they just grabbing handfuls of it, taking it back to the house. Oh my God. This whole show is just one gigantic shit show. I cannot explain this. This is the most white trash television. I can't believe it's a hit. Unbelievable. White people, y'all holding the L for this show. This show is unbelievably terrible. Joe Exotic ran for president. He ran for governor. And now he's in jail. Doc Antle running a cult with all his women. His place got raided. That was a footnote. That was a footnote as the show was ending. Was the fact that his place got raided. Oh my goodness. And Carol Baskin got away with murder. And that's it. There you have it, folks. That is my review of the Tiger King on Netflix. What do you want me to say? I'm not even gonna grade this. No, I'm not gonna give this a score. If it gets a score, it gets 3 tigers. I don't know what that means. You can grade it how you want. This show was ridiculous. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and until next time, fuck Carol Baskin, I guess. I'm just joking. I don't got nothing personal against her. Don't cover me in sardine oil. Oh, until next time, peace. 100.
We so futuristic on this one.
So faded on a track like this, 'cause the music makes me high. And if I only